Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers, connecting with makers from all around the world. Here's your hosts, Jamie Page, Chris Cute, and now, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is and wherever you are listening. Joined with me this evening is Chris Cute.
Cheers.
For nothing, in brackets. And that leads us perfectly on to Jamie Page.
All right, am you?
How's it going, guys?
Right, I'm here.
I'm all good.
Oh, peachy.
Excellent. Well, this evening, as you probably know, assuming you can read and you read the description that Chris does, we also have joining us for possibly, hopefully, the whole night. It depends how it goes, but I think it's your first time on the show, is it not, Wayne? Wayne The Woodturner.
It is my first time on the show. I got here eventually.
Well, that's high praise in itself, because I know you've been hanging around in the chat for a little while now. So you do, for some reason, still keep coming back of an evening and kind of joining us on the show, but from a listener's point of view, and for some reason, bizarrely enough, he decided yes, why decided to come and join us. I will be back with you in just 1 second, so please don't run away, otherwise we'll have a bit of a short show. There we go. This is your door slams. So as always, this evening's show is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grip, the Woodturner's abrasive paste, our good friend Chad over at Mancrafting, still giving away the Mancrafting mugs, which are awesome, by the way. Our friend Pam over at Highland Boxes, or up at Highland Boxes, should I say, because she's about as north goes. And also Steve from Hartnell Media, who's kind of the silent partner looking after our website that Jamie's been taking credit for all this time. If you want to find out more about our sponsors, and if you don't know them, I highly recommend that you do. Head on over to the website that Steve runs, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors, and all the information is on there. And go on then, Jamie, you do all that, don't you?
No, Steve does.
No. It's going to be one of those shows, I can tell. Also, don't forget you can rate us over on YouTube and your favourite fruit-based music player, audio listening device thingy that plugs into your ears. I don't know why you'd want to, but
I have to interrupt. Because it's been like weeks and weeks and weeks that I've tried to figure out why you call it a fruit-based media player, and then I remembered that it was an Apple thing, and I went, "Oh, okay." It's
in the UK we used to have orange as well, didn't we?
Yeah, and blackberry,
and
mix them all together and have a fruit punch.
And there used to be a banana phone as well.
Forgive me. So yeah, it makes sense to me now. It just takes me a little while, boys. I'm sorry, Richard. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go right on.
It's either the beer or the year.
No, it's mostly the year, but okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're welcoming Wayne this evening, but we're also very quickly going to mention a few of our live listeners, because they, for some bizarre reason, come and hang out with us live on a Sunday night in the real world. So we have very quickly, and I apologise for missing people out, because I will, and the chat's going very, very fast, but we have Anna Beef from Anna Workshop, Dead Rise Woodcrafts, Karam Hussain. Hopefully I got it right that first time, which probably means I won't ever again. Andy Pugh, Jeff Christie, Caitlin the Cat, and let's pick another one very quickly at random. That was that blue one, Turnings by Turner. So loads of people hanging out in the live chat this evening, and obviously they are all welcome as always. So Wayne, welcome. I mean, I guess the first question for you is why?
Because I was having a chat with JP and he said, "Come on."
Fair enough. I mean, I just assumed that. I mean, as most of our guests in the past, either you were under the influence when Jamie asked you, or as a result of obviously everyone hiding away in their own houses and daring not go outside into the real world, you were bored. But you're with us anyway.
As to the first one, Richard, I am usually under the influence. That's my man right there. I knew I loved you. I knew I loved you for a reason. And the second one, I've been self-isolating for about 10 years. I just don't go out. God, if I could virtually hug you right now, I would.
Unless there's a 3-foot bowl on a lathe somewhere.
Yeah, unless there's a 3-foot bull on the lid somewhere.
Richard, we do have listener questions, and we can get into those in a little bit with Wayne, because all the questions that we have are from the and favorite person, Andy Pugh. Because
we really should add him to the sponsors list, you know. He's been supporting us above and beyond, you know.
We could do that. We could do. Let me make a note of that.
Because I mean, when Andy speaks, the clouds part, the angels sing. It's a glorious thing. Anyway, we have questions for you later this week. Does anybody have any life lessons this week? I mean, we might as well continue.
I do.
All right, Jamie, go ahead, because I've got several, even though you may not want to hear them.
So I finally managed to get back onto the scroll saw, and that's not a life lesson, by the way. So I've done all the cutting I needed
for that.
I've done all the cutting that I needed to get done, and it come to painting all of the bits of wood and such. Well, as it's kind of a known thing, I've only got a small workshop, and I put on the mask for spraying. I opened up the window, but that had no effect. So I spray painted a load of gold paint in my little workshop, and my workshop is also attached to the house. So I've used about a can and a bit of gold spray paint, spraying all of the bits I needed to spray. Took off the mask, put it down, walked into the house, and was like, "Hello, that looks blooming brilliant." Well, all of the fumes had stayed in the workshop, obviously, but they've also made their way into the house. So the whole house is walking around like zombies. So that's my life lesson. If you're going to do it, make some sort of contraption outside somewhere, or just spray paint outside.
That's
yeah.
Extremely
or
good.
just let the rest of the house get as high as you are.
Yeah.
That's an extremely good call, unless you really enjoy laying out on your front yard going, "What the hell?"
and that's why my name on StreamYard at the moment says, "Am I awake?" Because I've done nothing but sleep today.
Okay, Richard, do you have one?
Do you know what? I hadn't really thought about this. To be perfectly honest, I mean, I'm not one to teach people many things, but if not really, to be honest, I've sort of kept myself to myself and got on with things. So not this week.
Classes, for crying out loud, Richard. So it's not like you're not someone to teach people things. It's like, you kind of do that as a side job.
There's kind of a difference between a sort of a practical skill and some kind of philosophical outlook towards things, isn't there? I mean, we could.
No, you're right. There is, but I'm just saying. Don't tell me you're not a teacher, but some.
Has a router bit ever come flying out at you 1,000 knots a minute?
Well, yes. The short answer is yes. The slightly longer answer is a knot is already a speed and time-based unit of, so it doesn't. It's not per minute. That would be acceleration, wouldn't it?
Yeah. See, there you go. You're learning something every day.
What, Wayne? Just keep smiling. We'll get through this. I swear to God. I swear to God, we will. And we'll get back to you. But I do have a life lesson this week.
Have you peed takes a deep breath first.
No,
what Facebook group have you peed off this time?
No. Yeah, well, that wouldn't be surprising at all. My life lesson is some people are just stupid.
No.
This is.
I've just thought I have got a life lesson. Yes, sorry, Chris. Back to you.
Oh, that reminded you of something else. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Then. I will do mine after you do yours. Then.
No. You carry on.
All right. Now, look, that probably isn't a new concept, but sometimes, when you least expect it, it'll hit you right in the freaking face. It's like, now, look, I'm a child of the 60s and 70s. The eras of acceptance, enlightenment, Woodstock, right on. Women burning their bras. By the way,
Janis Joplin.
I really missed that last one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Lie? I actually miss those aspects of that era. Anyway, so ladies, I'm just saying, okay, there was deep appreciation back in the day. Hey, all right, whatever. So I went to the market this week, and I'm not going to give you the whole friggin' story. I've already posted it on Facebook, but here's the deal. I'm walking into the market. I pick up a shopping cart that some doofus left in the middle of the freaking road. So I'm now feeling like a hero because maybe I made somebody's life a little bit easier. And I see this woman getting out of a car. She's got gloves on, a winter coat, a hat covering her ears, and a scarf wrapped around her face, so that you can only see her eyes. And I'm going, geez, it really doesn't seem that cold, but poor thing. Maybe she has a chill. I don't judge, so I go into the store and I get halfway through my shopping, which by the way, took 2 hours instead of the 45 minutes normally. But I get halfway through the store and I see this woman again. And inside, she's still wrapped up the same freaking way. And then it occurs to me, she's trying to protect herself from the coronavirus. And I'm like, I wanted to say, yeah. I wanted to say something, but I just kind of said, I've got my own stuff to do. Whatever. And then finished my shopping, and I was walking out of the market with my reusable environment friendly bags in tow, and I see another woman get out of her car, and she had, kid you not, one of those blue painter's masks on, which by the way, Jamie, to your point, only protect you from the freaking aerosol. They don't do anything, but it was very obvious why she was wearing that. And I'm telling you, I like Richard, you may not be a teacher, but there are sometimes when I just feel like I need to teach people. Like I just want to walk up to her and tell her it's gonna do you no effing good, but I didn't. So A+ to me on self-restraint. I don't care if you agree or not. I'm the one grading this test, and that's how I see it. So A+ for Chris. Just freaking deal with it. Some people are just stupid. That was
Crafty Claire said that was her. Did you see her?
I've got a life lesson for you, Chris.
All right, go ahead, man.
Go to the market when Berkey does at 4:45 in the morning. You won't see anybody.
Yeah, well, good point. Problem is I slept in that day.
Because actually, Chris is probably up at that sort of time because you pretty much keep UK time, don't you?
I definitely am up at that time. I normally I'm at the market at 7 o'clock in the morning, but that day it didn't happen. Anyway, that's my life lesson. It's just basically you're gonna see stuff. People acting crazy during stupid times. Just try to walk away. Just try to walk away if you can. I found it hard, but I thought I'd share that. Anyway, all right. So, Richard, back to you.
You see, when you said that you were, a child of the 60s and 70s, I was expecting you to say, you remember the inauguration of President Lincoln, Battle of Little Bighorn, and the creation of the state of Colorado. But that obviously went slightly awry there.
You really need to brush up on your history timeline, Mr. Morley, because I'm sorry, none of that happened in the 60s and 70s. But okay.
But I get the 1860s and the 1870s, but never mind. Anyway, so my life lesson for this week is if you're getting a tradesman in and you ask them to quote for a job and they do, and then you don't get back to them for 3 months, do not be surprised when you can't fit them in the next day when you ring them up and say, can you come tomorrow to start that job that you quoted on? Because they're probably booked up.
And the quota will have gone up as well.
Yeah. Well, there is that side of it. Literally, I put a quote in for a job just before Christmas last year. And then by the time it all kind of gone through with Christmas and New Year and blah, 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 and got back to them this backwards and forwards, it was sort of January. And they went, yeah, keep us on record, blah, blah, blah. We'll get back to you. And then I got a phone call Thursday. Can you can you come tomorrow and start? It's like, I tell you what, have a little guess. So just remember, folks, plan in advance. But plan in advance.
Flip a coin with 2 tails on it and hope for heads. Good luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Very strange. But anyway, we'll get it sorted by one means or another. So that's my life lesson: is plan ahead. Anyway,
well, my life lesson is drink alcohol, don't rub it on your hands.
Wash your hands. What a concept. Jeez, it surprises me that's even a novel one.
You strike me as the sort of person, Wayne, that would wash their hands with alcohol, not of alcohol.
No, I wash my hands with soap and water. Alcohol does bugger all against viruses.
And it's just it's just a damn
forget about them.
It's just a damn waste of good booze. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Wayne, let's turn the attention to you. We've been stupid long enough.
About 3.5 years. So
yeah, go Richard, go.
So we've got Wayne with us tonight. I mean, I guess the first question, Wayne, is the first serious question is, because you used to be in the army, I know. You were, was it Remy? I don't know what trade you were, but
I was a vehicle mechanic. Started off as a plant mechanic, and then ended up working more just on vehicles.
Okay, I mean, what kind of time period was that?
74 through 86.
So okay, so that's sort of 70s and 80s. I mean, that's for me joining up in the mid 90s. That was what I would consider an old school soldier back then, and so that's to the young lads of today. That's a probably not within their living memory, to be perfectly honest with a lot of them.
No,
but I mean, what made you join? Because that's a bit of a U-turn from the wood turning from the army. There's a bit of a gap there.
What made me join the army?
Yes.
Right. Realistically, because, and this might sound a bit strange, I was the type of person who realistically didn't hold a job down. I flitted from job to job to job to job. Spent a lot of time on the dole, and I thought, I can't be doing with this anymore. So I'll do something different and I'll join up. And everybody that knew me at that time, basically said, "You'll never last. You'll never last the basic training. You'll be in less than 6 weeks and then be out again." And I just proved them all wrong.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Was that because you enjoyed it, or was that just deliberately to prove people wrong? Or I mean,
to tell you the truth, I enjoyed it. It was basic training at that time. I joined December 74, and our basic training went through to, I think it was 3 months basic training at that time. So went through the sort of March time. And we got beasted and shouted at and told to do things that realistically civilians would sort of laugh at. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. I had an absolutely excellent time.
Plus, it didn't hurt that government was holding that piece of paper you signed that says, "Oh no, you're not going anywhere."
No.
I'm sorry. I don't care.
You want to get out? Yeah, happy days.
You're stuck, pal. We got you.
I mean, I guess back in those days, that was a buy yourself out era, wasn't it? Back then.
Well, no, you did have the option going through basic training that realistically, if you were really sick and homesick, really sick of the army and homesick, and people could tell you just weren't getting on well with the army, you could just leave at that point. Once you'd gone through basic training and gone through into your trade training, and then obviously posted to a unit, it was at that time when it was a buyout option.
Of course, yeah. We've spent some money on you now, so cough up if you want to. Yeah, that's fair enough.
That was never an option for anyone in the United States. Once you sign that paper, sorry, dude, you're here. unless you get, dishonorably discharged or given a psychiatric evaluation, which says
once you'd gone through, or once you started trade training, you did have the option of signing up for longer. And if you signed up for longer, you got paid more. So I signed up for 9 years.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, let's move on to the questions that were been proposed, to us today to ask of you. And they are, of course, by who do you think?
Mr. Pugh. Andy
Pugh. And God love Andy. Like you said, we should add him to the sponsors list. We really should. Anyway,
Else of the air.
Andy asks, I'd like to know if there are any skills or practices from your Army days that you find useful in your wood turning, i.e. maybe getting up at 5 a.m. and going for a run before breakfast, or possibly something more serious. Now, I think I know the answer to the last part of that question, but if you only want to
go for a run,
drinking is not an option.
Hasn't happened since I left the Army. Getting up early, I've always been an early riser. Mind you, since I've retired, that's been knocked back a wee bit, but I'm still an early riser. One of the main things I think I've brought from the Army life, and certainly the job I was in, is being able to think about how to do a repair job when something goes wrong.
Problem solving.
Problem solving. Having that sort of thing.
Yeah. How many times do you ever drive down the road and get a quick urge to quickly move that road cone?
I'll just drive over the top of
it. Jamie, I'm glad you live in the country you do and not mine. Anyway. All right, I'm not going to ask this next one because none of us, when I asked it before we went on the air today, could figure out what.
I can ask it.
Well, go right ahead.
Go on, ask it.
Boxes or briefs?
Oh, boxes. When I didn't be bothered putting them on.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that image.
Thank you, Jamie. All right.
That wasn't a question
that Chris had. You won 4 days in a row.
That wasn't the question that Chris had written down.
Well, it wasn't what I had written down. It's what Andy sent to us. It was his question. Go
on. Ask Andy's question, Chris.
Are you sure? Because I don't understand it. And if you do, then maybe it's just an English.
No, we can get back to Andy to ask him to explain.
All right. He says, why wood turning as opposed to how? Or is the how also the why? I have no freaking clue. Andy,
the answer to the why wood turning is very easy. When I left the Army in 86, after you'd done a certain length of time in the Army, I did 12 years, you were given the option of doing what was called a pre-release course to help you get back into civilian life. Jane and I had just bought this cottage that we live in now. It needed a fair amount of work. So the course I went for was an introduction to the building trades. So we did a bit of brickying, a bit of plastering, some painting and decorating, and some joinery work. And within the joinery workshop, there was a graduate lathe, a union graduate lathe. And stupidly, the instructor let me have a play with it. And that was it. I went home on leave, my final leave before actually leaving the Army. I left in December. I think I had a bit of leave in October. Went home on leave, bought a lathe second hand, and that was the first of many.
Well,
as to the how, is that I'll have to get back to Andy on this. Is that how I would turn, as opposed to why I would turn?
I mean,
that was the part we were uncertain of.
I would have interpreted that as how did you get into wood turning? I mean, that's certainly what I'd be interested in, and it makes a lot of sense because I mean, I don't know if they do this in other countries, but I mean, they call them now resettlement courses, and you get so many points where you could go, I want to go off and do this after I leave the army, and then depending on how long you've done, you get so many points or credits, which then basically the army then pay a relative amount dependent on how many points you have to pay for the courses that you then go on. And that's why you get a lot of people leaving the armed forces and going into trades as well as other things.
Yeah,
but
the original one I wanted to do was the health and safety one, but at my rank they wouldn't actually let you do that, which is why I did the introduction to the building trades.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a sort of a comparison. So if you leave like you say, a certain rank, you've within your trade, you've already kind of got a certain civilian equivalent qualification to a leadership management kind of job. I mean, one example is if you join the army as an officer and you fly helicopters, then you leave with I think it's the equivalent of a commercial pilot's license. Whereas if you're a senior NCO aircrew, you get a private pilot's license. So it's like the next step down in terms of training.
So the answer as to how you got into it is basically because you would get afforded the opportunity to learn something and you liked it, so you went with it.
The why and the how tends to be the same answer.
Well, yeah. Okay, great. All right, I got another question for you then. And it's from Andy. And Andy, again, I love you. I don't mean to make fun of you. I don't. I really don't, because I respect you. But his question is, do you do other wood or craft related things besides wood turning, or is wood turning the only thing that you like to do and the rest of it can just blather off?
No, I do other things as well. I have in the past done a fair amount of flat work, if you want to call it that. I have done some furniture builds. I have got the machinery, all of the machinery, basically to do anything I want. Okay, I'm a wood turner. I do have 2 lathes. I only have 1 scroll saw. I think I was saying to somebody the other day, I've got 7 routers.
Well, 1 scroll saw is probably one more than you need, but okay.
I have got a fairly decent router table. I have got an old StartRite 5-function machine, which is a table saw, planer, joiner,
that's cool.
mortiser, and spindle molder.
So I guess that I didn't realize actually that you had so many kind of flat work toolings there. So how come you're not building boats and canoes? Because surely they'd be fairly useful in your workshop if you completed it.
You sound just like Jane, you do, Richard.
Exactly. His workshop's always got water in it.
Yeah.
Need a boat? I know a guy.
So for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, what? Presumably everything's okay now. I know you were kind of bailing out a few weeks ago, so to speak.
Yeah, this is something that's ongoing and does produce a lot of anxiety for both Jane and myself. I think more so for Jane, to tell you the truth. We've lived in this house since 1986. We'd had water in the field and in the garden a few times. 2009 was the first time we got flooded, and it was a shock to the system. And everybody said this is a once in every 200-year situation. Excuse me. So, 2009 we got flooded. 2011, 2013, 2015, and then just a few weeks ago in 2020. That was the 5th time.
Wow.
And people say, well, why don't you move? Have you ever tried selling a house to somebody that floods?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. It
only does it every couple of 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the situation where we wanted to get one of these equity release plan things, where you can get money back on your house and it gets paid back once you die.
Right.
Everything was going fine until the surveyor came out, and then the surveyor, whose right jobs were he was, wouldn't speak to us at all. Anyway, that's by the by. He went away, and the next thing we got back from the equity release people is that from the survey, resale value of your house is nothing.
Wow.
So we own a house that isn't worth a dime. So we're actually thinking about getting in touch with the council and seeing as how our house isn't worth anything, why do we have to pay council tax?
Why is there a tax on my property if this thing isn't worth it?
Because council tax goes on how much your house is worth. Our house isn't worth anything, so why should we have to pay a council tax?
Oh, trust me, they will spend the night and find an answer as to why.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
so well, I mean, we've done basically we don't have any life savings because we spent it all on flood defences, which obviously don't work. But we have spent a hell of a lot of money on flood defences. It's something we've got to live with. We're in that type of area where it's going to happen. It's going to get worse. So
maybe it's time to gather the animals and start building an ark. I mean, this story has been told for thousands of years. And it's like, hey, you know what? I'm ready. If you guys want, I'm taking these cats and dogs and giraffes and elephants with me. But if you guys want to hop on, go ahead. Wow.
I mean, but presumably yours isn't the only house. It's like
the thing is, Richard, we are out in the country, and we live just outside quite a small village. The only neighbours I've got are 2 houses across the road. That's it. That's the only neighbours. In 2015, the village was actually cut off for I think a couple of days. There's 3 roads. Well, there's one road that runs through the village, and there's another road that goes off in another direction. And all through, basically, they were blocked at both ends of the village. We happen to live at one end of the village.
Wow, well, that must be
quite a scary prospect. I mean, right? Yeah. There's a scary prospect. I mean, we're always looking out the window to see when it's going to start raining again. Excusing the language, shit happens. You know what? You get on and live with it.
It just does, and you know what? We all find a way to deal with it in our own way.
The good thing about it is, if it floods really bad, and we'll claim on the insurance, because between 2009 and 2015, we had the house decorated with new furniture every 2 years. Look on the bright side.
And that's I'm glad you said that, because there's always a bright side. You may have to really search hard for it, but there is always a bright side.
Totally. And obviously, I guess that in itself is a life lesson, because that no amount of sort of, I guess, moaning about the problem
is going to help
find
the problem.
A solution.
It's going to
we've got 25 minutes left. Let's get off this subject. Let's talk about something else.
So I've got a question then. So you said before you joined the army, you was one of the kind of people that couldn't hold down a job and all that sort of stuff. So did you ever do any kind of making, like as a child or in your younger adult days?
A little bit, not very much, I've got to say. My dad was a mechanic. I did help him a few times with all the homers that he used to do. My mum was a very keen knitter and seamstress, and really got into doing more stuff as she got older, to tell you the truth. There is a background within the family of making anyway.
Yeah. So quite literally, wood turning just came straight out of nowhere.
Oh, out of the blue, totally out of the blue. We were actually doing some plastering and then we went and joined a shop, and the instructor said, when you're doing plastering, you need to have a plasterer's hawk, which is the handle with the flat bit that you put the plaster on.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted everybody to make a plasterer's hawk, and the first thing I ever turned was a handle for a plasterer's hawk. That was the first thing I turned on a union graduate, and I thought, I like this. This lump of wood spins fast and you can make shapes out of it. Oh, yes.
There you go.
So was that the first lathe that you bought? Was that a graduate, or have you sort of upgraded to that?
That was the one that was it. It was Catterick where I did the course. That was the one that was in the workshop there. The first lathe I bought was an old. Oh God, I forget the name of it now. That's me age coming in. No, it's gone. It was a twin bar. You won't have heard of it, but it wasn't bad. It did me for a year or so. Then I bought one of the Nerock. If you spell Nerock backwards, it spells Korean. And that was one of the single tube, the single tube lathes.
Yeah.
Bought one of them, and then I think it was in 1990. I bought what was called a Pullwood 2840. It was known as the Super Lathe, and I had that for about 25 years.
Okay. And,
so presumably, here we come. I mean, what? That's cool. But Wayne, I'm looking at your stuff that you've put out on YouTube, and I don't mean to like blow sunshine, but you do some really great stuff. I mean, and pardon me. Pardon me if I'm confusing you with somebody else, but do you do live shows?
Yeah, every Wednesday. Internet allowing.
I almost thought I was wrong, but I mean, I'm glad you reaffirmed that, because you have done some really cool stuff. I mean, I'm looking at a project you did that was like a small bowl that you titled. I guess you titled the video "Flowers."
Yeah.
But that thing came out incredible, and the fact that more people haven't seen that is like, why? This is cool. I mean, have you guys not seen that video? It's like,
it does a lot of string pull art, and it's just incredible.
Yeah. I've got to admit, I do watch a lot on YouTube of art channels, which is where I get a lot of my ideas out, especially with the likes of the string pull, the water drop bowls, that type of thing. I was never, when I started turning, and it was probably only about 3 years ago that I started. The only colouring I ever used to do was ebonizing, and it was usually flame that I ebonized with. And I always said to Jane, can't see the point of why people want to colour wood.
Well, and
then about 3 years I got into it, and now I can't understand why people don't.
That's certainly what I know you for, is the colour, and particularly the water droplets.
Well, yeah, that's really
because they're just amazing.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the thing with the water droplets is, like I've always said, it wasn't my idea. In the 1970s, people were doing water droplets paintwork on the likes of petrol tanks on motorbikes and things like that. So it's not something that's new. It's just something that I've started doing on wood turning.
It's taking, and this is how things in any area, whether it's motorbike art or wood turning or flat work or anything, is you take an idea that you see somebody do in a different area and then you bring it into your area,
and then you apply it to your own work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that I think you're very talented, because I don't like the word talent, because that implies that you were born with something that the rest of us weren't. I mean, that doesn't never happen. I'm sorry, guys, it doesn't. You're very skilled, I mean, you have obviously spent some time, and you've learned how to do things very well. And
everything I've learned from other people.
That's what I'm saying. But that's a skill. That's something you learned, and then you've applied, and then you've made into gorgeous stuff yourself. And so that's not talent, people. Well, I mean, you guys can think however you want to think, but this is how the way my brain works. That's not talent. That's skill. And that's just somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. And you do what you do very well. And that's why I'm so happy to have you on today. I mean, I really am.
Yeah. Caitlin out in the chat said, Wayne videos are always helpful and he is always willing to give advice and provide help. I want to say thank you very much for all the help he has offered me.
Thanks, Caitlin. I know Caitlin fairly well. I've met her a good few times now. That's the other thing about the videos that I do, especially the lives that I do. I've usually got Dale in my ear when I'm doing my lives, so he can keep me up to date with what's in the chat. And I welcome the questions coming in, because that's part of what I'm about when I do the videos, is trying to pass on the knowledge. Which is probably a stupid thing for me to do, because
no, it's not.
I haven't finished yet. It probably is stupid because I do tuition as well that people pay for. You know, if I keep handing out free knowledge, you're just going to watch me videos.
I'll tell you what is funny. He's trying to get. I'll tell you what is funny.
Wayne 1, Chris 0. Okay, you win that argument. Okay, that's good.
I'll tell you what is funny. He's trying to get Wayne to laugh on camera because he just stopped listening.
Wow.
Yes, I have lost it a couple of times laughing on camera.
So, I mean, to give a timeline for people that don't know, how long have you actually been active in wood turning? I mean, how many years have you actually been behind a lathe doing what you do?
Just on 33.
So over 30 years you've been.
Yeah, it was. I started turning. First time I touched a lathe was around about October of 1986.
Yeah, so that would make it over 30 years. Well,
yeah,
time well spent, because I mean, I think more people should be enjoying you today than they currently are. So if you, Wayne's link to his video channel will be down below on Wednesday when this comes out, if it's not already there today. So
yeah,
go support him. Go give him some love. Subscribe and follow if you're into turning, because the man has some knowledge.
Definitely. I mean, I follow you on the Instagram, or on the gram, as the kids say, and obviously on the YouTubes as well. I mean, the internet isn't that old, so you've been turning way longer than the internet's been around, and even longer than the people have been putting these videos on YouTube. So what made you come to YouTube, create your channel?
I've actually had a channel. My YouTube channel has been active since, I think, around about 2012, but I never put any content out. I was just, I just had the YouTube channel so I could go in and watch videos and things. I mean, I still remember Carl Jacobson when he had that crappy little lathe that.
It was a Craftsman lathe, I think. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
yeah. That basically had to move things backwards and forwards to tighten the belt up on. I remember Carl when he first started off. But I never thought about putting videos out. It was only when was it? My first video went out, I think it was September 2-3 years ago. I think it was when I put my first video out. Right. I just thought, why not? Why not? Other people are doing it.
Yeah. There you go.
So that was the Natural Edge Cherry Bowl. Is that the one?
Yeah, Natural Edge Cherry. I think I did that one on the VB36 as well.
That was September 17.
Yeah. So that big a kind of a question. What made you what was the reason for going, right, I've got a fairly big lathe that can turn really big stuff here. You know what? I've got a good idea. Why not get a bigger lathe that can turn even bigger stuff?
Right. the first time I saw a VB36 was at a wood-turning show back in the 90s. And I thought, oh my life, I need one of them. And I never really got the option of getting one until there was a place opened down in Penrith in Cumbria called G&S Timber. And this is a father and son operation. They used to be in the entertainment. They used to do the traveling shows, the fairgrounds and things like that.
Right.
And the father, Gary, he quite liked turning, so they went out. Dad bought this place in Cumbria and opened up a shop. And he bought himself a VB. And then the business developed and he spent less time turning, more time with the business. He put his lathe up for sale. I knew him fairly well. So I went down, had a chat with him. The lathe came up on auction on eBay, saw for a bidding and got it. And at that time, we had a bit of, it was quite expensive, but we did have a bit of spare cash. So Jane said, yeah, go for it. So I did.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's just freaking awesome.
I don't think there's got to be a woodturner out there that wouldn't want to own a lathe.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. I mean, the lathe itself, it's an absolute beast. I don't actually, because of the size of my workshop, I don't have mine bolted down. So just in case I need to move it, mind you, that's a week-long event in itself. But with the likes of Glenn, I mean, he dug a 2-foot hole, filled it with concrete and rebar, and sunk some bolts down into the concrete to fasten his VB to, which is why we were able to do the 3-foot bowl the other week.
Yeah,
we talked about that last week, and it's not a matter of why. It's just it's a matter of because I can. Because I can. Yeah. Exactly. It's like
realistically, if Glenn had taken a slice from further down the tree, it would have been a 5-foot bowl that we were turning.
Right.
Yeah.
And we would have been using the freestanding tool rest. It's just a beast of a machine.
Yeah.
So what is the largest you could turn on one of those for anyone that doesn't know?
Center height to floor.
Which is?
Center height for me would be elbow height. What's that? Around about 4 foot up to my elbow, something like that. So you're talking about an 8-foot bowl.
You're talking about an 8-foot bowl. Eight freaking foot.
That's a large... unless you actually dig a channel in the floor, in which case you probably could turn bigger.
Oh man. And I'm only laughing because somebody is going to do that just because they want to.
If I had one of them lathes, that's the sort of thing I would do.
Well, Jamie would be the first one because 8 foot wouldn't be enough.
Bigger bowl turned.
Yeah, he would want 9.
There's a guy in Germany. I've lost his channel link somewhere. But there's a guy in Germany actually turns some absolutely huge stuff. Not on a VB, it's on a homemade lathe, and he turns some absolutely huge stuff.
That's just wild. Anyway, I watched some guy, I think down in Colombia, turn, like an entire freaking tree on a lathe that was homemade for himself, but he winched this thing up onto his lathe, locked it down, and went and turned the whole thing and made a column out of it. It's like, holy.
Well, who's the Greek guy that's got the really big lathe? Not so much diameter-wise.
Anarchist?
Anarchist, yeah. No, not Anarchist, no.
I don't know.
Anarchist has got an ordinary lathe. No, this guy's got a home-built lathe. He turns a lot of sort of 6 foot long vases.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not 6 foot diameter, but 6 foot long.
We're, we're just the kind of people that will go, if you give them the opportunity, I'll give it a go. I mean, we just are. It's like, if you say that we can do this, then we're going to. When you tell us we can't do it, then we're going to really want to do it. Just because,
I guess you could take that to any sort of hobby or interest, couldn't you? As soon as you say I can't, I want to.
Pretty much.
Well,
as soon as you say I can't, I'm coming back at you and going, "Oh Jesus, hold my beer."
Well, they said on my lathe that it maxes out at 21 inches, so I put it to the test, and it handled it perfectly fine. So Richard now owns that bowl, or Cat does, shall I say?
Yeah, you gave it to Cat, don't you? They've got a lathe at this new make space that I did I tell you I joined and I found out the other day that their lathe has got a rotating head on it as well. So I want to get in and turn something just exactly for the same reason Chris said. Just as soon as you find out that it can be done, you want to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to turn a largish platter.
Well, I'm looking at time and Wayne, I don't know how to say this other than to say I admire you deeply. I do. You have a skill that not many people have, and I appreciate you for showing it to the rest of us. I mean, I really do.
There are thousands upon thousands of turners out there who are a lot more skillful than I am.
Well, I don't care about them. I'm talking to you. I'm telling you right now that just accept it. All right, you freaking moron. Take it.
What?
I love you. Is all I guess I'm trying to say. Anyway, cheers to you.
Awesome. So what are you currently working on, Wayne? Is there anything in your workshop other than small coracles or canoes or maybe an 8?
Not going there. Not going there. Right. At the moment on the lathe, I have still got a 14-inch piece of yew. That's going to be a natural edge bowl that I was supposed to do live. That I was supposed to do live last night, but my internet packed up. But at the moment I'm actually doing quite a lot of small stuff for shops, boxes and smaller bowls, coloured bowls, things like this for shops.
So you presumably what's the word, supplement your income with turned craft items, do you, in various retail outlets? Okay.
Yes, I do.
That's in addition to your class. Did you say you took classes and stuff?
Yeah, I don't get many, but yes, I do tuition. I also do demos. I've started getting onto the demonstration circuit as well. So I've started doing demos as well.
Good for you. Good for freaking you.
So how can people sign up for your courses?
Coming to my house soon.
Basically get in touch through either Insta Messenger or Facebook Messenger.
Excellent. So
we'll just invite him in down for a beer.
Yeah, I'm actually down in Surrey at the East Surrey Woodturners Club at the end of June doing a demo down there. So I'll be spending the weekend down there. Well, I'll be going down on the Sunday, demos on the Monday evening. I'm staying with Dale. Tuesday, I'm going down the Broadstairs, I think it is, to see some guy down there as well. Who's that? Oh, JP. Going to see JP and his dad.
Oh, there he is. Bye.
Yeah.
Speaking of JP, I think it's time for him to sing. I could be wrong.
Well, you nearly did it last week, Chris. So if you want to take the reins,
no, you go right ahead. But just give me time to remove my headphones for a moment. All right, thank you.
Jamie's page.
Okay, go, my man.
Right. So again, Maker Central stickers. I'm going to do it the easy way this time because Richard had a go at me last week.
Well, I've just got to make it easy for people.
Right, to get £20 discount at checkout off stickers, go to makersinternationalpodcast.com/stickers. And then all you do is you go to upload your pictures and blah blah blah, and yeah, you just follow the instructions on the website, and at checkout you'll get your £20 off. Quick note: if you've bought stickers from that website using a particular email address, sign up using another email address. Otherwise, you won't get your discount. It's one email per one discount. So yeah, they're kind of crafty that way. So yeah, that's that. My shout out this week goes to Andy Hill of AH Bespoke.
Andy,
what's up, Andy Hill?
Andy Hill.
Yeah, I thought you said Hill.
Heel, as in HEAL.
There you go.
Of AH Bespoke. Now, his video actually comes out in 47 minutes or 3 days ago, if you're listening to this on the Wednesday's release. I've seen the final pictures of this and his promo picture on the screen I'm looking at right now. He carved a crow out of pine wood and he scorched it as well. And it looks absolutely incredible. So, straight after the podcast at 10:15.
Yeah, that was Huggin.
And he has a premiere.
Huggin is the name of the crow.
Yeah, that's it. Odin's crow, Muggin. Andy's carved a massive crow out of pine wood. So
that's awesome.
Definitely going to check that out. So, and speaking of premieres, I just want to say Caitlin and the Cat has a premiere at, let me just quickly look, 10:30 as well. So if you can go back and watch that again on Wednesday, if you're listening to the re-upload, and obviously I've got one out at 10 o'clock as I always do, straight after the podcast.
But Jamie, do you have one tonight?
Yes. Straight after the podcast.
We shouldn't ignore that, I guess.
Straight after the podcast at 10 o'clock. So I'm at 10 o'clock, Andy Hill at 10:15, Caitlin the Cat at 10:30.
That works out wonderfully. You guys are awesome.
And they're all at UK time.
So someone's going to have to come up with like some kind of radio times or TV times, but the old TV magazines with when everyone's lives are on.
We need somebody already did that, Richard.
Really?
I think Amy from the Ashes did it. Amy from the Ashes did it, didn't she?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere particular that it's been posted.
Kind of like a TV guide that is, instead of TV, it's a YouTube guide, so you can go do it.
Whatever happened to the old days when you could just go on the app and you'd have a subscription feed and all the new videos from all the channels you subscribe to were just in there.
So I'll tell you what we could do. If you do a live, or if anyone's got a place where all the lives are, if you can message me on Facebook or message one of us on Facebook, and I can put a spreadsheet up on the podcast website of what time everyone goes live, and like a calendar, a weekly calendar or whatever, then people will know where to go.
I'm just still laughing about Richard saying, "What about the old days when you could just pull up the app?" Richard, there were times when you couldn't pull up an app. I want you to know that, because the app and the whole technology never existed. So I guess I'm talking about a generational thing here, but dude, when you say the old days, that makes me feel really friggin' crotchety. That's all I'm saying.
Obviously, that went straight over Chris's head, and I was having a little pop at the fact that it doesn't matter who you subscribe to. YouTube doesn't actually put those new videos from those channels that you subscribe to into your subscription feed. So we have to produce our own document that says.
I get it, but you said back in the old days, and I'm going, well, back in the old days there was never an app. What are you talking about?
By old days, obviously, I meant last week.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Back in the old days, they didn't have Instagram either, Chris.
For crying out loud. You guys are killing me. I don't have a shout out this week, guys. I just don't. Richard, do you have one that you want to give?
I do. I've been sort of going in. I'm in a bit of an HDPE rabbit hole or potential rabbit hole at the moment. and I came across a video from a guy called ES Artifice, who made an HDPE mallet. There's quite a few mallets, mauls out there with using polyethylene, but it was more for me, certainly, about the way in which he's processed it. I know, like, the brothers use a panini cutter, and a lot of people sit there and cut them up into teeny weeny little bits. And there's loads, there's as many methods of processing the plastic. There are colors of the plastic, but he'd done it with like a baked bean tin and a heat gun, basically jerry-rigged to a tripod pointing at it. And I just thought that was quite an innovative way that I hadn't seen before. And I've got a baked bean can and a heat gun, so that's why it's my shout out.
Awesome. That's great. We didn't even have to.
I actually want to give another quick mention. I know we do joke about this at the start of the show about the podcast website, but I want to give a quick mention to Mr. Nealon. He's actually done some upgrades to the podcast website. So if you're not of English speaking language, he's put a translation thing on there for us. So if you want to speak in your native tongue on there, the website will automatically translate it so we can all read it. So if you want to go over there and put a comment on there, so he's put a plug-in on there for us.
So obviously people have got Chris to thank for that, because he couldn't read what we were, because it was in English, obviously, and he was just having a few trouble with some of them.
I was just going to
Chris was right. Chris was writing over there in sheer sarcasm.
I was just going to say, Anna, I'm looking at you, girl. Anyway, Wayne, how about you? Do you have anybody you'd like to give some love to this week? Or
yes, no? I have a shout out. My shout out is going to Country Wood Girl, who is in the chat.
Awesome.
Awesome. Country Wood. It's actually strange. I've followed her for ages. I still don't know her first name. Country Wood Girl is a cabinet maker. She works in a family business. I think it's her dad's business, and she works within the business. She is based in Braithwaite, which is just west of Keswick in Cumbria. Does absolutely amazing stuff, and she is also a turner as well. Does some wood turning as well. Go across, check her out, subscribe. Absolutely magic stuff she does.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And
yeah, great channel.
Country Wood Girl. Just your title and the name that you have makes me think that I dated a girl much like you back in the day. I'm gonna leave it there. Let's just move on.
See, I like that church table.
No, I mean, I'm sure.
Sorry, I got distracted by the videos in her feed.
I'm sure she's fabulous. And Wayne, thanks for letting me know about her, so I can go check out her stuff as well and subscribe and all kind of good fun stuff. But yeah, what do you want? I'm a pervert. Go ahead. Let's move on.
There was me waiting for a little pause with Chris, and I could thank Wayne for coming on. That was a perfect segue into that. And then when you just wait a second too long, and you...
All right, I will edit that out if it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Excellent. So. Yeah, honestly, Wayne, thank you because that's why we like having people on. They introduce the new channels, and that looks like a new channel to this. So welcome a hopefully new listener. Thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
No
Never
problem.
a chore with yourself, Wayne. And presumably you're going to make a centre as well for.
That all depends on what the government say in the next 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, notwithstanding potential chaos.
Notwithstanding that, I will be at Makers. I will be on the Yorkshire Grid stand all weekend, getting I'll nearly swore again there. Getting gritty and talking to people and hopefully selling stuff and getting into the arena early so I can actually look at some stuff, because I don't think I'll get off the stand during the day. And I will not be in the bar afterwards because I don't drink.
Well, you should still come to the bar after. See, has another
what a gift away.
Maybe I do.
Awesome. So, I mean, hopefully we will see you in person at at Maker Central. Like you say, notwithstanding the potential chaos, we'll see what happens with all of that.
I will certainly be there.
And if we don't see you there, then hopefully we will see you next week as a listener, potentially on the show.
Yes, I'll be here.
Along with all our other listeners who are here live on a Sunday night. So, big thank you to you, Wayne. A big thank you to our guests and our listeners listening live, and you, if you're listening at a later date. Chris, we thank you for
God knows what. But go ahead and thank me for
and Jamie, I'll thank you for not doing that again. Until next time, if you are still listening, we'll say what we like about you. If not, something else. I don't know if we're doing enough party. We never really do know much anyway. I don't know what we're doing next week either. We're all so well organised. So until we find out, until next week, we will have a good time. And you all, take care.
Have a great week, everybody. And I apologize.
Cheers, guys.
Take it easy, everybody.